Yeah, good evening. It's 6:30 Thursday evening, second Thursday in the new year. Appreciate y'all coming. I hope there's a lot of people online. This is the third town hall meeting for the Willow Park Home Rule Charter Commission. We're going to start with a prayer and a pledge. And I'm going to ask Judge Urban to give us.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for your blessings and your assistance this night in this important work that we do for our city. Bless all the people who've decided to be here and participate. Bless the people who've worked so hard over the last 6 months to bring together a good home rule package. Thank you for your assistance. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for your love. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Judge. Next thing is pledge to the United States flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. There's been some questions about, well, who's on this commission? Several of the members are here tonight. There's a couple who are not. Tandy Blackstock is our secretary. Y'all want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Tandy Blackstock. I am a resident of Willow Park. It's been an honor to be on this commission with everybody. My background is, are we doing backgrounds or no? We've done it.
A little bit of background.
Certified special ed teacher. Currently, I am retired, but I also substitute, and I do contract work with Texas Workforce Solutions for individuals with special needs.
I'm Charlie Hodges. Thank you all very much for being here this evening. I'm a resident of Willow Park, outgoing president of the Stagecoach HOA. Never thought I would ever have a job like that, and never thought I would be on a commission to draft a home rule charter. But I'm doing it because I was asked to help the city, and that is why we are all here. I'm a former news reporter, used to work in Springtown, KZ Radio in Weatherford before going to a newspaper in Virginia, a radio station in Minnesota, and going to KRLD and the Texas State Radio Network in Dallas. A lot of government experience, a lot of covering government. So I've seen how a lot of these things are put together. Now I'm getting to play a role in putting one together. And I think this group has done really well. Hope you do too.
Carol Bugner, resident of Willow Park on Fox Hunt Trail. Currently employed by Lockheed Martin as the Deputy Chief of Staff for Engineering. And like Charlie said, have really enjoyed the process that we've gone through. We've had some very, very deep discussions about a lot of topics, a lot of debate. But what I think is, being developed will help the city in many different ways. Hopefully you'll hear tonight about.
Good evening. I'm Carol Bracken. My husband Larry and I have been residents of Willow Park for 29 years. We live on Crown Road. I'm a retired attorney. Maybe I should say recovering attorney. And this is my first foray into the involvement in municipal government. I've enjoyed it tremendously. I've been very impressed with my fellow commission members. We're a very different group of people. We bring a lot of different perspectives to the drafting of this charter. I think that's been worthwhile. And we appreciate very much you guys coming out We look forward to hearing your input. We want to put together a charter that works for a long time to come, and we hope to put together a product that you see as valuable enough to support it in the election in May. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gwendolyn Yalley. I'm 21 years old. I'm a college student at Weatherford College. I'm currently studying business administration. I've lived here with my family for almost 12 years, and I am happy to serve and be a person for the young people on this board, and to hopefully give back to my city that I plan to stick around and raise my own family here someday. So.
I'm Roy Kervin. I'm the oldest guy on the board. My wife made me do this. No, I'm really excited about having this opportunity. I served as a judge in Tarrant County for a total of 26 years. I have a martial arts school. I started teaching in '67. I'm still teaching, and I have branch clubs across the United States and even Switzerland. I've done that for many years. I've been a police officer. I'm currently with the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. I'm in charge of reentry and the chaplains organization, and my job with ESO is to help prisoners who wish to change their lives never come back. And we give them educational opportunities and make it possible for them to change their lives. And it's a joy to be here. I work with a very fine group of people. It's been quite an education for me. I've just been honored working with these people over this past month.
My name's Dave Lorenzo, and my wife and I live here in Willow Park. I've been a resident since 1991, so I've been here quite a few years. I've seen a lot of changes, a lot of growth here, and I think this home rule charter is really going to move us in, to the next level of government in our city. So I'm really looking forward to this. I come from a background of, I was an engineer at Lockheed, and I was in program management when I retired. I was there for almost 35 years. So I'm hoping that I can apply some of that logic to some of the discussions we've had. And this has been a great group. Very lively discussions, and I think they've been extremely productive.
And there's a couple of members that are not here. Michael Chandler. He's retired. He was the basic second in command to the precinct 4 commissioner here in Park County. He brings a wealth of knowledge on how roads are put together, general construction for a city. Jonathan Stickland is somewhere on a boat this week. He was in the House of Representatives in Austin for 8 years. So I think what you just heard is there is a wealth of and a breadth of experience in this group. Just wanted to share that because there had been questions about where did all these people come from? And there's always the question, there's a few, how many people have not been at one of the town halls before? Show of hands. Okay, thank you. What's the difference between what we have and what this home rule charter would propose? The basic difference is our powers are granted by the state under general law. Home rule charter gives powers that come from the citizens. General law, very limited citizen influence, and I'll say more about that in a minute. Home rule charter, you have tools with which to make the citizens' voices heard. General law is legislature approved, home rule charter is voter approved. And the single requirement to adopt a home rule charter is that you be over 5,000 in population, which was accomplished here in March of 2016. Well, state law gives the city a lot of powers, ability to create ordinances and regulations, be lawsuits, have contracts. And the home rule charter actually retains all of those rights for the city. We're not losing anything. What do you get with the home rule? There are tools that are available now to the citizens that are not available under state general law. the initiative referendum and recall are actually powers that cause the city council to pay more attention to you. Okay? So, what can you do with the home rule charter? You can decide, how many council members do you want? Are they all voted at large? Do you cut the city into sections and have one person represent different parts of the city? What are the duties of the mayor and the council, and the city manager? Again, what we are doing is attempting to retain the basic rights of the city granted through the general law process and add to it the rights that citizens will have to control how the government works. Okay? Any questions so far?
I'd like to add something to what Gene has said. Sorry. The home rule, the general law city structure is an excellent structure for small towns. They tend not to have a lot of resources, and they tend, frankly, not to have a lot of really complicated problems. And the structure that's in place works well for them. It gives them the resources that they need, the tools they need to deal with the problems that they face. However, as a town gets larger, the problems become more complicated, and the city needs additional tools in order to craft solutions for those problems. In a general law city, if it's not specifically set forth in the statute, you can't do it. In a home rule city, you have the ability to craft different solutions to deal with different problems. And I think that is a piece of flexibility that we should give our city, not just now when we're almost 9,000 people, but as we grow. I'm not sure any of us are really thrilled at the idea of Willow Park becoming larger, but I think it's inevitable. And I think it behooves us to set up the infrastructure to make sure that we can deal with that growth in a way that our citizens want and in a way that's practical.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Actually, that prompted me to think, I want to flesh out a little bit. What is this initiative and referendum thing anyway? Does anybody in this room think they understand that completely, besides Marcy Gallant? Let's try it this way. What is the current situation we have to affect the city council to do something that we want to have done? Or not do something we don't want them to do? Well, you can go to a city council meeting and you can sign up and you can speak for 5 minutes. And you can ask them questions and you can suggest they do things and they will listen to you politely. And the next thing that happens will generally be nothing. Okay. If you have the ability to initiate a petition for an initiative or a referendum, well, you have to have a good idea, because just to get started, you have to have 10 people form a committee to define what the petition will be about. And then you have to get a few hundred people to sign the petition to agree that you got something that has merit. But at the point you have a validated petition, the city council will listen to you. Because at that point, they have 3 options. They can look at it and say, yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. We'll do what you want. Or they can say, there's some merit there, but we really need to discuss a better solution. And they may convince you that they will take action a different way and you will withdraw the petition. So those two things, those two solutions can just be a way to get the city to address concerns of the citizens in a straightforward manner, pretty much with no cost. The third option, of course, is you hit an impasse between what the citizens want and what the city council wants. And then it will require going to an election and it will cost some money. And I don't think I can explain it any much better than that. Anybody have a question?
Pardon?
Somebody say something.
Okay. Does anybody have a question? No? Okay. What is our current schedule? We had a meeting last night. We're having the town hall meeting tonight. We are trying, well, I am specifically trying to incorporate about 60 changes that were discussed last night. And I should be able to publish that updated draft charter document tomorrow. Can't guarantee what time. And we will have another meeting next Wednesday night. Potentially, we will finalize the draft charter. And if not, we will have another meeting on the 21st. And we are so close, I don't see any reason why we will not have a completed final charter to submit to the city council on January 27th. Why is that date important? Well, that is the next to the last council meeting prior to the deadline date to call an election for May. And I don't want to wait until the 10th of February to give them a document that they would have to put on a ballot by the end of that week. Okay? I've also reserved 3 additional dates as shown on the screen for potential future town hall meetings. Because I am hopeful that more people will want to know more about what this change means, what it will mean to them, what it will mean to the future. And I am highly interested in making sure everybody in town that wants to know is given the opportunity to know what's in this charter. Okay? The reason for those dates is early voting starts on the 20th of April, and the election day is the 2nd in May, and then we'll know the answer. Okay? Okay, what are the basic changes that are being proposed from the conditions that we are operating under now? One, we're proposing to add another council member. Move from 5 to 6. At the same time, change the length of term from 2 years to 3 years. That seems to be working for a lot of cities, including Toledo. The mayor gets a vote. The mayor has to run for election on the ballot, just like a council member. No reason that person shouldn't get a vote in the way things are run the same. We are trying to incorporate more accountability into the process as far as allowing the citizens to know what the evaluation criteria will be for the city manager. And we have proposed that the council create an independent board of ethics and do a better job of defining a code of ethics. So why 6 council members? We want to have the potential for more diversity of experience, and our larger city population deserves possible more people that they can contact. Why 3-year terms? Well, for a new council member, that first year, if you've never been there before, that's a learning experience. Really doesn't matter how much you've spent around the city. I mean, I know for instance, Mr. Smith been on the P and Z for a few years. I'm gonna bet that he's gonna learn a few more things over the next few months. I was on the council for 14 years and I watched a lot of people get on the council, and I just saw we have another council member here. We have 3 council members here. Did y'all post a quorum? Okay. Anyway, I watched council members come on, and it takes going through a full budget cycle and into the part of another budget cycle before you really get an understanding of what needs to be done and how it should be done. That doesn't, if a 2-year term doesn't give you much real time, then to do things not in learning mode. So I'm in favor of a 3rd year. Okay. And I hate to say it, but the voters could make a mistake and put somebody in there that maybe they didn't understand exactly what the guy was all about to begin with. And if you have a 3-year term, that might not be good unless you have a method to recall them and replace them, which is also built into the term. Okay, the mayor gets a vote. Under normal conditions, the mayor is an equal member of the city council. Really doesn't have much more say about what's going on in the city than any other member of the city council in a practical sense. But the mayor is the primary spokesperson for the city. Okay. Under emergency conditions, you have to designate somebody who is in charge. And there has to be a chain of command that has authority, and the mayor is that person. And those duties require the respect and support of the council, the city staff, and all the citizens. Period. Okay, so what we've built in here is a process that we would like the evaluation criteria for the city manager to be published. It ought to be public information on what the council thinks are the important things for the management of the city. Okay, simple as that. This is not, and I would be annoyed if it were turned into some kind of micromanagement tool. This is a top level type of evaluation. And we've looked at various cities that have implemented a board of ethics, and it just seems like a good idea to have a function that is a watchdog over the operation, over the conduct of the people who are running the city. I liken it to, it's why I put a lock on my shed. Keeps honest people honest around my shed. Okay. So if you know that there's somebody who could be looking at your conduct, you're just more likely to behave properly. So what questions do you have?
Scott Sharon, I live on Squaw Creek.
We can't hear you.
They can't hear you.
So I'm trying to understand the concept here and I appreciate the hard work that's happened. So my understanding of this is the premise is to maximize voter involvement and to get as much of the things that we can in front of voters. Is that the idea? Why are we rushing this to a May vote? Why don't you put it on the November ballot when we'll have twice the number of people show up?
Need to speak up.
Why would you not put this on the November ballot when you have twice the number of people showing up for a midterm election and other things in the state? Why would you rush this to the May election?
Because the May election's when the city has its election.
Okay, but
And
if
if you put in, and if we move it to November, we move this vote to November, then we move everything to November. And that is something that we talked about. And it was generally not thought to be in the best interest of the city to have November elections. Because if you have November elections, this is how it works. Every fourth year, you have everybody and their mother showing up to vote in a November election, because that's when the president is, right?
that's the goal.
Yeah.
You just said that's the goal.
I didn't say that was the goal.
That's
What
the
we're
goal.
doing, no, the goal of this is to set a constitution that will run the government of the city. It's not designed to do anything except be a governmental document that shows the city manager and the city council what can and cannot be done legally for the city because it's in the charter. There's no tactical anything from this chart.
Let me back up a notch. Is it safe to agree that everybody thinks maximum voter involvement is the plus?
And I'm about to explain it to you.
I don't need it explained to me.
Okay, fine. And have a good night.
So, hold on.
I mean, what I'm saying is, I was trying to, okay, you all have fun. I'm out.
I'm trying to understand the principle
I'd
of
like to
this
explain it to you.
and that's fine. My concern is that we're rushing this to a May vote and everything. So I'm about things matching. I do not like pretending. So I'm subtle as a brick through a window. I'll tell you that. I do not like things that don't match. So if this is supposed to expose voters to maximum exposure to this, and we're supposed to get a maximum amount of voters, why would we not do that? And he's tried to explain that. I'm putting that out there. You guys need to chew on that. It doesn't match. So when I see things that don't match, it makes me question motives.
Okay, but hang on just a second. The premise that the main goal of the home rule charter is to maximize getting voters out is not a good premise. And let me explain that a little more fully.
Is it better to say voter involvement?
Well, okay. This is a little tricky, but it's a really good question and I appreciate you bringing it up. I really do.
I have more questions, so.
Okay. We've gotten questions about, well, what is the charter supposed to fix?
I'm not.
Wait,
I'm not opposed to
bear
the
with me,
charter.
please.
I'm not opposed to home rule.
No,
I want that known.
okay,
You and I both have talked about this.
yes.
Okay.
But let me try this for you. I have not come at this ever from the perception that the charter is supposed to fix anything. A charter is supposed to give the citizens tools so that grassroots involvement can run the city.
Right, which is another way of saying voters.
Okay, now, as far as moving this to the November election, the November election is going to have a lot of information on it. People at the county level, state level, the federal level, trying to get elected.
So more information is bad.
No, it's not good or bad. It is, this subject could get lost in that level of information in November. That's a concern. Okay,
Let's satisfy that one that we disagree on that. My other thing is that we are growing government, no doubt. And we spent the last 50 years in this country growing government, and we are rapidly trying to work our way out of that mess. We will have a city council bigger than Weatherford. When this city's built out to its max, I bet you money, marbles, or chalk, we hit 15, 16, 17,000 and we're out of land. So we're trying to grow a city council that is going to be bigger than Weatherford's, and we will be a third or a quarter their size. So I'm just trying to understand how we're doing this. I want to let you know that I'm neutral on home rule. It's the implementation. I'm wholly opposed to the ethics committee because it's like it's a homeowners association gone crazy. I've read some of the stuff in here. This is nuts. Is there still stuff in here about subpoena power in the final draft? Is there subpoena power in here?
Oh, wait a minute. The articles 11 and 12 have been removed.
I am wholly concerned that this is basically the ethics part. This is what I'm concerned about. The ethics part is a poison pill that forces a new sitting city council to cut their own throats. Because prove me wrong on this. If you have remedies to remove sitting city council members that don't fit whatever you're doing, eventually in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you'll have a city council that's what the ethics committee wants. And then you've essentially subverted the will of the voters by doing that. Now, I've run this through AI about 20 times with a bunch of different people smarter than me, because I'm by far not the smartest dude in this room. But I can tell you right now, everything that AI says about the ethics committee says it is a substantial realignment and refocus of power to the ethics committee. And they can't find any cities in Texas that have an ethics committee that is binding. They're all advisory. There are cities the 4 cities that have ethics committees standing are Houston, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio. Anybody notice what those are? Those cities are all blue. And they've all had substantial ethics problems that mandate them having an ethics committee. And they're not binding. So binding ethics committees don't exist because you're ceding power from the seated city council people, and giving it to an unelected board, which opens you up to litigation. That's what AI said.
Do you have a question?
Well, my point is I have a concern here, and somebody's got to explain this to me. How is it that you think this is supposed to work when no one else does this? No one else does this. If you're saying it has binding authority and you can remove seated city council people, how is that supposed to work?
If your question now is based on the content of what's in Article 11, I should have told you that the commission determined to remove that material and fall back to the paragraph B that was in Article 9 originally.
So is this the ethics committee binding or non-binding?
Hasn't been determined at this point because the only way the ethics committee or the ethics board would be created is by ordinance created by the city council. Hasn't been defined.
You are a conservative for the last 20-something years. Are you telling me that we get to see it when we pass it? We've tried that before. This is nuts.
No, I'm not. And I've been conservative all my life.
This is not conservative. Growing government and making a city council and a city government a Rube Goldberg machine is not conservative. This is like running a marathon with your hand over your mouth.
I've noted that your opinion is that this will grow government.
It is. You are going to add seats to it. So when you have the binding authority of if you bind the ethics committee and they're bound, who's going to insure them? Who's going to insure them for the decisions they make? Because there's going to be litigation over it. Is the city going to pay bonding for those people? There's a whole bunch of unfunded mandates in this. This is not well thought out. This is literally like Homes Association going crazy.
Okay, your opinion is noted.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Carol.
Good evening. Here are my top concerns. I will email this document to Mr. Martin in hopes that the Home Rule Charter Commission will consider these prior to finalizing the charter. This has to do with Article 6, Initiative, Referendum, and Recall. Evidently, the HRCC and I will have to agree to disagree on my concerns about paragraph 6.05 determining the minimum number of signatures needed on a petition necessary to proceed with initiative, referendum, and recall. I continue to recommend that we use only 10% of Willow Park residents who are registered voters. If an issue is not important enough to get 10% of registered voters to sign a petition, then maybe it's not important enough to pursue.
Carol,
Yes,
this is the second time you've read this to us.
it's not the second, it's probably the 10th time, but this is my last chance before you present it to the city council.
Well, I understand, but.
That's it,
is-
Matt.
is-
I got
is-
some more.
Do you have anything new?
Yes, this is, the rest of this is all new, okay? This is all new. And if you could hold off on those comments, I have the right to stand here and express my views.
Yes, you do.
On paragraph 6.04, form of petition, it says, quote, each signer of a petition must be a qualified voter of the city of Willow Park. I think the charter needs to define what this is. What is
I
it?
agree.
Okay. And why is this important? This is why this is important. Subparagraph B of 6.04 states the petition circulator will complete an affidavit stating, among other things, that the circulator believes the signatures obtained to be genuine and of the persons whose names they purport to be. Shouldn't the circulator assure that this person is a qualified voter of the city of Willow Park? Do we not have a voter ID law in Texas? I believe the circulator of the petition must request to see a valid photo ID to confirm the identity, name, and address of the people signing the petition. Shouldn't there also be a process for auditing signatures if needed?
On that, I believe there is state law that defines how the registered status of a person signing a petition is verified.
Okay, so is that different to what's in this charter? Why is there?
This is what you just said.
Okay, but why doesn't it just say the circulator should just assure that this is a qualified voter of the city of Willow Park? I mean, it doesn't say that. That's
Well-
what that's my doubt.
When you get a signature from somebody and they give you their address,
Mhm.
then you can go validate it against the list of registered voters. And that's how that is validated,
Okay,
okay?
but that's not written in the
And,
charter.
and by the way, when I was going, after the meeting last night, and I'm going through trying to put all the new comments in, and I came across qualified voter, and
So you
I'm
need to
thinking,
speak up.
we
It's not
really
defined.
need to define
You need
this.
to define, yes, okay, so we agree on that. Isn't that great? Okay. On recall, quote, the qualified voters of the city shall have the power to remove any official serving in an elected office, unquote. Period. For any reason, for no reason at all. I think there has to be a logical and ethical basis for removal of an official. This could be used to force people to resign for any reason or no reason at all, or else an election will be held to remove them. Per paragraph 6.13, city council members who are appointed have no protections whatsoever. We currently have 2 appointed city council people. When place 6 is created, when the charter is enacted, that person will also be appointed by the city council and could also be in danger of recall.
Well, that's correct. But just because you're appointed as opposed to elected, if you are not performing in a way that
But it
you
doesn't
should
say
be,
anything about performance. All it says is they can be removed. It doesn't give any qualification,
it's a process,
but shouldn't it?
not necessarily. If you have some recommendations on how you would like to have
Okay,
that defined,
okay.
please send them to me.
I'll
okay?
do that. Thank you very much. Okay,
But there is a process that you can't just say, I don't like him, let's remove him. You really better have a good reason, or you
Right.
won't get anybody to
Right.
sign a petition.
I agree with that. That's why I thought the wording was not clear. It just made it, for whatever reason. I don't like the color jacket he wears or whatever. So, okay, very good. Okay. I will submit something to you. Okay, next, paragraph 6.06. When a referendum petition, this is quote, when a referendum petition is filed with the city secretary, the ordinance or resolution sought to be reconsidered shall be suspended from taking effect unless the suspension will create an immediate breach of public health or safety, unquote. I believe this paragraph could cause disruptions, delays, and negatively affect the normal functions of the city council and city departments.
There are specific actions that are immune from a referendum petition. I think they're documented in another part of the document,
And in state law.
and they are documented in state law. So it's not just a willy-nilly. But yes, if the council has taken action that is detrimental or perceived to be detrimental to the city, and a petition is filed to have a referendum on that subject, then it has to stop. It is required to cease.
But it's gonna cause delays. It's gonna cause things to slow down. You
And
have to agree
yes.
with me that that's possible. right?
absolutely,
Okay, okay. All right. The next issue has to do with paragraph 7.11, issuance of bond and other obligations of the city. The last sentence of this paragraph reads, quote, "The city council may only authorize the issuance of general obligation bonds by a bond ordinance passed by the city council and approved by a majority of the qualified voters voting in an election called for the purpose of authorizing the issuance of such bonds," unquote. Long sentence. Okay. I am no expert in this topic, but it seems to me this might be a change to the way things have been done in the past. Haven't resolutions been used just recently for this purpose? Now they will need to be ordinances with required bond elections before the issuance of bonds or other obligations to the city? Doesn't this risk delays in transacting normal business?
okay, so a GO bond, a government bond requires to be put in front of the voters in an election. A CO bond, which is what was recently proposed by a resolution, does not require an
What
election.
is CO?
Certificate of obligation.
Oh,
So the two major types of debt that the city can take on. Okay,
so,
and the city has taken on a lot of debt.
okay. But this paragraph doesn't differentiate between those two types.
It does not.
Should it?
No, it actually pretty much quotes the way things are now.
Okay,
If you go out for a GO, the last time the city of Willow Park had a government bond election was in 2016. And I think it was for about $6 million for the public safety building and to pave Ranch House Road. And the public safety building cost more than that. And the concreting Ranch House Road cost more than that, but that's a different story.
so, okay, you taught me something today that I didn't know, but you don't think that this paragraph needs to differentiate between those two? Okay.
No,
Because I get the impression that a lot of bond elections are gonna be taking place now. You know, a lot of citizen involvement, lots of bond elections, so I just wanted to make sure that we got things clarified. Okay, just a couple more things. Okay. This has to do with my general thoughts about citizen participation in city government. In recent months, there have been strong calls and actions for more citizen participation and involvement in city government. The HRCC believes this is good, and I agree. I have no problem with that. However, there could be a downside to citizen participation. Gridlock and delays might become the norm. Every citizen will be negatively affected if this happens. The city of Willow Park has much left to do. Water has been and will remain the #1 priority for the city. Street replacement, repair, and maintenance, and replacing crumbling infrastructure such as water lines is also an urgent and high priority for citizens. Other major developments are in the works even today. The use of initiative, referendum, recall, the creation of a board of ethics, all these things will not fill a single pothole or replace a leaking water line, construct a road. I just want to make that point, city participation is good, but it's going to cause everything to slow down. And my last comment on paragraph 3.11, it's titled Investigations. Quote, the city council shall have the power to adopt ordinances permitting the council to inquire into the official conduct of any department, office, agency, or employee of the city, and permitting the council to subpoena witnesses, administer oaths, and compel the appearance of witnesses and the production of evidence to a specific inquiry, unquote. This is pretty serious. Can you explain what are the reasons for doing this? Aren't there existing procedures for dealing with such problems?
A great question.
Are there current procedures for doing that?
Yeah, this sounds pretty serious. I read this subpoena, witnesses, oaths, production of evidence,
And what is the subject of that?
investigations, paragraph 3.11.
Investigation of what?
That's the title of the,
Investigation of what?
it says of any department, office, agency, or employee of the city.
Of the city. So yes, you're complaining that the city council should have the ability to investigate how the city is operating.
Does the city not have that power right now? Does the city council not have such power? What about the involvement of the ethics committee aren't these a lot of things, lots of investigations, lots of things going on at the same time?
No.
No?
I don't know. At this point, the ethics board is not defined. There was a very complicated proposal that was given to us. And after discussions last night, that has been at least, it is taken off the table.
The subpoena power or the whole proposal?
The contents of what is published as Articles 11 and 12 is deleted.
Okay, does that include the subpoena power? Yes or no?
I don't believe there is a subpoena power anywhere else in the document.
Other than this Article
Over
3.
here,
Just
311.
that.
311.
That has nothing,
Nothing to
we're
do
not,
with it.
we're not combining subjects here.
Okay,
That is not the ethics committee.
okay.
That is a power that, should it be needed, the council can utilize for investigative purposes within the structure of the city of Willow Park,
And
over which the council should have control.
what about the city manager's involvement in something like that? Are they not?
What if the city manager is the one that's being investigated?
That's what the Parker County DA is for. That's what the police are for.
Not necessarily.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Can we only hear from the person at the microphone?
My apologies. My apologies.
Okay, well, I'm through, and thank you very much. You've all done a great job. Thank you for listening to me.
Yeah, on that, but
Thank you.
don't go away.
I'm right here. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I'm not going away. As much as
sorry.
you want me to go away, I'm not gonna go away.
I'd like to make a comment on the need for a board of ethics. If you're a doctor, you got a board of ethics. If you're an attorney, you have a board of ethics. If you're a judge, you have a board of ethics. And one of my responsibilities as a judge was to review cases where judges had made a terrible error in the law. And I would bring them in, they'd have a day of education. That's not complete malfeasance, it's an error. But judges go before trials. Two of the people that I served with were indicted and removed from office. It was the Board of Ethics that did that. That set it up and did the investigation. No matter what organization you're talking about, you must have a board of ethics. Architects have, engineers have. You must have them. And for most of the time, they're not needed. The Board of Ethics isn't needed because most people do the right thing. But sometimes they catch something really bad. As a chief at the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, I review cases. I'm on a board of two other chiefs. And we have cases filed with us about malfeasance. Perhaps a person is coming to work late all the time. Perhaps that person is not making the jail checks the way they're supposed to. These are small things. They can be punished by a day off without pay, 2 days off without pay, or 3 days off without pay. Or if the case against them is egregious, we can recommend firing or refer the case to the district attorney of Cherry County. So a board of ethics is an interim step, and it exists in all professions, and it is especially needed in government, especially needed city government, county government, state government, and federal government. It exists at all levels. And it's something that we don't ever want to use or lose. You have to use, but when you need it, you're really going to need it. And that's the whole point of that. We have no board of ethics in this city. Every city needs a board of ethics. It's a painful thing. There's a lot of work to make this go. The good people don't need it. The people who wander off to the side, they need it. We need it.
I had something to add about the petition and the signatures on the petition being certified and authenticated. The city secretary either handles that or the Parker County Elections Office handles that. I worked for the Parker County Elections for a little bit, and I actually helped in certifying a petition at one point. And you have the database of voters, and you basically just go line by line, certify that their address and their name and date of birth align, and that they're an active registered voter. You can't accept suspended voters or someone who's not registered. So that is done by someone who is paid either by the city or the county.
Okay, so maybe the charter just needs to be clarified to follow those rules,
Okay,
right?
yes, ma'am. We could add a reference to state law on that requirement.
We could, adding a reference to state law wouldn't change the fact that state law would control that.
Actually, it already says it's subject to state law.
Right, well,
Then take off all the details and just leave it at the state law.
Maybe you can't answer this. If this passes, how will this affect me financially?
I would say it should affect you financially zero,
No change,
no change.
no tax change?
This should not drive any change in the
No.
basic expenses of the
The
city.
way things are now. And if it passes under home rule, what effect will it have on me financially as far as taxes that I'm gonna have to pay that I didn't pay before? Or taxes that were X number of dollars now 3 times that much? I realize that everything has gone up. Don't misunderstand me. You probably can't answer this question. Just yes or no is not going to get it. So do the best you can. I'll go sit down.
Okay. There is nothing in this charter that will affect the expenses of the city that we know of. Okay. Again, how this will affect the budget. What additional expense do we assume will come from this? If we add a 6th person to the council, there will be, I'm not sure exactly what it costs to run a city council meeting, but that will go up by a factor of about 15%.
Adding one other person?
Yeah, because paperwork for an additional person, so I don't know, $50 a meeting? I don't know. I know the mayor did reach out to the mayor of Aledo to see, well, when they adopted the home rule charter, what effect did it have on their finances? And I don't think she got an answer yet. I think something about you could put in a public information request
I don't
and get
think
that.
anybody's worried about $50.
Well, that's my point. Is this going to affect? In fact, I'm gonna just take a stab in the dark here. My guess is your property taxes in Will Park frozen. Mine are.
Well, they went down. Okay.
Well, okay. I mean, if they raise the tax rate, my taxes in Wool Park aren't going up because mine are frozen.
But somebody else in here might.
Yes, I understand your point.
This isn't exactly an answer to your question, but I think it may be useful to note that there are 400 and something cities in the state of Texas that are eligible to be home rule cities because of their size. There are 300 and something cities that have taken the option and have become home rule cities. Most of the ones that did not are closer to 5,000 in population or they're not growing. I, if converting to a home rule city charter structure resulted in a lot of extra expense to the city and therefore to the citizens, I think we would not see as many cities taking advantage of that option. I mean, I don't think that's a direct answer to your question, but I do think it might be germane to the analysis.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I just got one question, back to the conversation about petitions and things like that. I obviously haven't read all of this, but I think this may clarify the questions that Carol had. If you're talking about, appropriate signatures and things like that, would it not be appropriate where the wording says contain the signature of qualified voters equal to somebody that moves into 601 Main Street that is of the appropriate age and all, could be a qualified voter, but they haven't registered to vote. And if you put qualified and registered voters, that may help clarify whether, it may be semantics to some people, but it's a detail to all. And I think that would clarify a question I had before you talked about it just a moment ago, to add the simple and register.
But again, that's why I was thinking last night that we need to add a definition for qualified voters because it's used several different places. And a qualified voter generally means somebody who is currently registered to vote in the district in which they reside.
Now, I understand that,
Okay,
but not everybody may. And have the wording down there, those two things, it clears it up completely.
I give the mic to Charlie with trepidation.
The one thing that is when you have petitions like this, a person not only has to sign the petition, they also have to put down the voter registration number. Okay,
Actually, they don't.
well, in a lot
But
of.
somebody does have to get that
But
number.
they have to check it. And if that name and the voter registration number don't match, then the signature's pitched.
Right.
And there are a lot of times that in initiative and referendum, you will turn in a petition. Let's say you have to have 125 verifiable signatures. You turn in 130. There's a 99.9% chance that petition's not going to live because more than 5 signatures will get pitched. So the whole goal is to have 15% or even 20% more in the number of signatures to make sure that every signature is validated. It's a very exact process that the city secretary goes through, and voter registration can help with that as well. But that doesn't have much to do with what this is. This is a document of constitution, so legal document.
One other thing, thank y'all for your time and dedication to this. It's got my head spinning just a few minutes I've been watching it. I can't imagine what y'all have been doing going through this.
Oh, I think it's a lot of fun myself, but it's all kind of weird.
True.
Nobody's gonna argue with that thing. Okay, now I want to, I put this slide up here because I want to address the subject of the level of well, how many signatures do you really need to get the attention of the city council? And what I put up there shows that we have two numbers for the initiative, referendum, and recall. One of which it's the lesser of those two things. Either 30% of those who voted in the most recent general election, or 10% of all the current registered voters. That would be qualified voters. Okay? There's approximately 4,500. It might be 46, it might be 44. It's somewhere in that region. So 10% would be 450. 30% of the people who voted in the most recent election, which was 751, is 225. Okay? Well, magically, a different number that we put in, we had actually put in there, I think, a larger number than what is currently there for amending the charter, because we thought, well, initiative and recall is one thing, but amending the charter, that should be a little higher step. So we put a little higher level in there, and it got changed to 5% by the legal review, because that's what state law says. Huh. So we were thinking that we want maybe 300 plus signatures to be able to amend the charter. And per state law, we're back down to the same value that we are at if we go with 30% of the people in the most recent election. Go figure. And I will tell you that the guideline I tried to have the commission look at on that subject was, we want to set that level high enough where it does take some work, but and it will prevent random, just stupid stuff from coming across the table. And low enough so it doesn't totally invalidate the concept, like you'll never get there. Okay. So at some point, we may actually get a big enough voter turnout to where the 10% of residents would become the requirement. 751 votes out of a potential of 4,500 is just under 17%. In my opinion, that's pretty low voter participation. Again, a subject that has been asked is, what are we trying to fix with this charter? Well, let me tell you that voter apathy is not something the charter will fix. That's something that needs to happen anyway. And maybe putting this charter in place will actually get people more involved and could raise voter participation. I'm optimistic about that, but I'm not putting any money down on it either. Okay. I mean, the city election in this year was the first time we've had a city election in what, 7 years? I think we just, that's a problem in itself, but it's not a problem that the charter will fix. Okay.
Can you address how we're gonna distribute this charter?
How we're going to distribute it.
Right, so people are aware of it prior to
Okay.
the election, because that could also spur voter turnout.
Well, that's another reason why, I'm planning that we should have, uh, at least a couple more, maybe 3 more town halls. The process will be when we complete this, finalize it, and we turn it over to the city council. The city council will call an election, and language will be put on the ballot to say, yes or no, are you in favor or not in favor of adopting this charter? The next thing that will happen is that the city will send a copy. Not provided as a option to look at online. We'll send a copy to every registered voter in the city. Fairly good advertising, I think. Okay? And at that point, I think we may find that there's increased interest in coming to the town hall meetings and find out a little bit more about what's going on. But I think that answers your question is the requirement will be to send a copy to every registered voter. I have on my to-do list to contact the Attorney General and see if we can send 1 copy to, say, my house, where there are 3 registered voters, instead of 3 copies. But we will end up having to do whatever we have to do, and specifically mailing those things out to every registered voter is the single biggest expense I know of for adopting the home rule charter.
So Gene, that was gonna be my question. Where do those funds come from?
Aren't you gonna pay for it?
Cause I just did simple math, 35 sheets, 4,500 registered voters. Turns out to be 315 reams of paper, it's $45 a ream. The total cost is $14,175.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Who pays $45
We're
for
looking at 35 pages.
I'm sorry?
I don't know who pays $45 for a reading.
Well,
I mean, that was a quick Google search of what it shows up.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, $45 for 500 sheets.
Even $30, we're still at 12 grand. So
How
I just wanted to know where
about
those
meat
funds come
at
from.
Walmart? Anyway, yes, it's, city funds.
City funds it.
That is not postage, that's just paper.
Okay, so does anybody have any more questions about the number of signatures required and how we got there? Okay, does anybody else have any questions about the charter? Yes,
I'm Marcy Galley, and I wanted to say that I attended the meeting last night, and it was very enlightening and encouraging that the full legal review of our charter did not bring about changes that were just groundbreaking, earth-shattering changes. So I think that speaks to the level, the high level of work that all of you guys did. And I'm so proud of it. I think it's going to be maybe the model charter for the entire state of Texas. And I think maybe the city of Aledo might want to change theirs to mimic ours. But I really think if people did not see the review that y'all did, extensive review y'all did last night, after the extensive legal review that was done by our attorneys, I encourage the residents to watch that meeting. So thank y'all so much for all of your hard work. Thanks.
thank you. And one
You had a
more.
question of. Oh,
Question?
You have a question, sir?
Yes, is that QR code the most up-to-date copy you have?
I was told that it goes to the December 17th version, which is the currently posted version. As I said, I am working. Hopefully I'll find time tomorrow to complete incorporating the changes from last night and get it to the city and repost it by tomorrow afternoon.
Is there a place that shows where that can be looked at online or?
Oh, absolutely. Let's see if I can show you. Well, no, I don't know if I'm online here or not. Let's see.
Because I'm sure you're updating it every time you have these meetings. So what's
I
greatest?
think I'm working on version 9.
1.09.
The city website has a home rule page.
Okay.
where We post.
This
post it there.
is the city website, and if you go to boards and go to home rule, and you come down here to the working draft of the home rule and click that, it brings it up.
That's the same thing as this QR code.
That is correct. Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Donovan?
A moment ago, you started to say, you went down the road of telling us what the problems were that this was gonna fix. And then you didn't expound on it. Can you maybe tell us?
I think you may have misheard me. I said, I have been asked questions about what is this going to fix? And I have no intention that the charter will actually fix anything. The charter primary purpose will be to give the citizens the rights and the tools to, from a grassroots perspective, have better control of the city.
So is this slide deck posted anywhere? Your slide deck on this?
I'm sorry?
Is the slide deck on this PowerPoint posted anywhere?
Not yet.
It will be, sir.
Yeah. I mean, I think I finished putting the slide deck together about 3:30 this afternoon, so. Okay. But yes, I have been trying to post everything on the website.
I wanted to give y'all a little insight into our decision to increase the number of city council members from 5 to 6. And we really chewed over this one. We felt that once the mayor has a vote, you would, under our current system, we have 5 city council people and a mayor. That's 6 people. And therefore, we were very concerned that that would result in ties that would not be breakable. So we felt that we needed to reduce the number of city council people from 5 to 4 or increase it to 6. And we didn't feel like it was appropriate to boot somebody off the council. And we also felt that it was not appropriate to reduce the representation that the citizens have, down from 5 people down to 4. The larger a district is, the harder it is to get in front of your council person, and the harder it is to make them interested in what you have to say. So we felt that having 6 districts would mean that each individual citizen would have a shot, at least, at being more important to the city council person that's representing that district. So please don't think that we just hauled off and did it. I guess it's appropriate to say we discussed it ad nauseum, and that was what we came up with. The other thing I wanted to say is, I don't know if any of you have ever gone through the process of walking around neighborhoods with a petition and asking your neighbors to sign. If you have, I think you know that unless people are mad as they can be about something or really, really engaged, it's difficult to talk them into signing something that they don't know about. And frankly, I kind of think that's as it should be. I think that statistically, if you look at the home rule cities around the state of Texas, you don't find initiative, referendum, recall being utilized very extensively, at least not completely and successfully. What you do find is that it's something that makes the city council and makes the city staff sit up and take notice. And I think that's a good thing. We have had in this last year, I think all of us will admit, what I'll call increased citizen interest and participation at the city council meetings. And I think that's a good thing. But I can't tell you how many times I heard people saying, oh, this is all going to go away. People get tired of this after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. They won't show up anymore. And then things will go back to the way they were. Well, that hasn't happened yet, but I guess it might. And I think that would be a shame because go along and get along and do it in the old boys way is no longer appropriate, not for city of Willow Park. We are not a city of 2,500 people any longer. It's time for us to have a little bit more business-like approach to the way the city is run. And that means the involvement, the meaningful long-term involvement of the city, the citizens of this city. So that's why I agreed to serve on this committee. I think our citizens have a lot of interesting things to say, and I want to give them the structure in which they can be truly heard. So thank you.
Very good, thank you. Say, Todd, maybe you know the answer to this, but this link here, does that still go to me? Okay. Well, if you have a question or a comment, you can submit them by going to this same page and clicking this link, and it will open up an email that used to go to me, but now goes to Rose Hoffman. Is that correct?
Yes, as you see on the screen, it says Rose Hoffman. I don't know who that changed.
Okay. No. Just. Again.
I apologize to everybody in the room for getting upset earlier. The subject that we were talking about, the May to November election, when we talked about that for over 3 meetings.
Yeah.
In and out for 3 meetings. And at the time, I was a big proponent of going to the November election. And it was just determined that it would have been too much of a shock for the city. And that because of the cyclical nature of November elections, we would have one election where lots of people would show up and no one would know about the city election. And that would not bode well for
informed
voting for the citizens. So I apologize for getting upset about that, but we talked about that a lot. And for all of you who have been here and have made comments, thank you for being here. Those of you who are here just to listen, we hope that you got something out of tonight's meeting and that you'll see that this is a governmental document. It's not a policy document.
Hey, Gene, one last thing. I want to apologize and retract my map. Thanks to Google. About 10% of that, so we're still good. Yeah. A case of Reed was $40 and Reed was $8. So thanks to Mr. Hodges for bringing that up.
Okay.
No, like I said, when I Google it, it's a $40.
Well, I mean, simple solution, you just got another tax note to pay for it, right? Okay, I didn't bring coffee and cake or anything. Does anybody have any additional question, comment, anything at all? I mean, we're glad you all came out. Appreciate it. Go talk to your neighbors.
We'll be available if you want to ask any of us personally
Oh.
questions afterwards. We'll
Right.
be here. So thank you all for coming.
Thank y'all.
Oh.